In this video you will know about the play The Tempest, written by William Shakespeare, and for the educational purpose, here it has been summarized by Swapnil Mehta. Before further ado, let's start the video. Prospero, the main character in the play, was the Duke of Milan. He, at one stage of his life, got interested in the study of philosophy and logic. He became indifferent to the management of state affairs. He began to spend most of his time in the study of books. So he entrusted the management of state affairs to his brother, Antonio. He never thought that his brother would grow ambitious and usurp his dukedom. But Antonio, however, grew more and more ambitious. Gradually he concentrated all powers in his own hands and enhanced his authority. In process he replaced the existing officials who mattered in administration by the officials who were loyal and sincere to him. He joined hands with the King of Naples, the sworn enemy of Prospero, and planned to expel Prospero from his dukedom. They struck a deal with each other. It was agreed between the two that Alonso would support Antonio in expelling Prospero from his dukedom and in becoming the Duke of Milan in place of Prospero. In return for this support, Antonio would pay an annual tribute of money to him and also recognize Alonso's superior position to him. In this way Antonio subordinated his authority to Alonso. Now taking advantage of his powerful position, Antonio expelled Prospero from his dukedom and cast him adrift with his 3-year-old daughter, Miranda, in a rotten and dilapidated boat. Antonio hoped that the boat, after facing the fury of the sea waves for some time, would capsize and that Prospero and his daughter would die. However, Antonio's hope was not fulfilled. Gonzalo, an old courtier, had secretly put food and fresh water in the boat in order to save their lives. He also placed his valuable books on philosophy and magic in the boat so that Prospero could pursue his studies. Ultimately the boat reached an uninhabited island where both Prospero and Miranda began to live. 12 years have passed. Miranda has grown up to be a beautiful girl and Prospero, after studying the books on philosophy and magic diligently, has become a powerful magician. He has acquired magic powers and control over several spirits. He has a command over the spirits of air, spirits of the earth, spirits of water, and spirits of fire. He gets all tasks done through Ariel, the spirit of air. Prospero has also gained full control over a deformed creature named Caliban, who took birth as the illegitimate son of a witch named Sycorax. Ariel, who carries out all the commands of Prospero, is loyal and sincere to him, whereas Caliban, who is half human and half beast, hates him and curses him. On one occasion, Caliban had tried to outrage the modesty of Miranda but failed in his attempt to do so. Prospero commands Ariel to raise a storm in the sea at a time when Alonso, the King Naples, is returning in a ship from the wedding of his daughter Claribel to the King of Tunis. Antonio, the usurper of Prospero's dukedom of Milan, Sebastian, the brother of Alonso, Gonzalo, the old courtier, and a few others are also accompanying Alonso in the ship. The fury of the storm is so intense that Alonso and his companions see no hope of survival. Alonso's son Ferdinand jumps into the sea to save himself. All the other passengers remain on the ship. But Prospero had instructed Ariel that no harm should come to any passengers on the ship and also to the ship. Ariel acts according to Prospero's wish and saves the life of all the royal passengers and the members of the crew, and also preserves the ship. The passengers, no doubt, believed that the ship had got wrecked. Ariel makes arrangement in such a way that all the passengers find themselves cast ashore. But they have landed the shore in separate groups. Each group is ignorant about the presence of the other group. Ferdinand, who jumped into the sea, thinks that he is the only survivor of the shipwreck. Alonso, on the other hand, thinks that his son has died in the sea. Alonso lives in the company of his courtiers on the island. He is grief-stricken because he thinks that his son has perished in the sea. Gonzalo, the old courtier, consoles Alonso and gives him hope that Ferdinand is alive. Antonio, who deceived his brother Prospero and usurped his dukedom, now conspires against Alonso, the king of Naples, who earlier helped him to get rid of Prospero. Antonio provokes Sebastian to murder Alonso and Gonzalo in their sleep and become the king of Naples. He tells him that Alonso's son Ferdinand is believed to be dead, and his daughter, Claribel, is married in a country which is far away from Naples. If he kills Alonso, he will become TBE king of Naples. His argument appeals to Sebastian. As Antonio and Sebastian take out their swords to kill Alonso and Gonzalo in their sleep, the invisible Ariel awakens them and the attempt to murder them is foiled. But the two conspirators do not give up their plan and hope to execute it later on. Prospero, who has been living in a cell on the island, asks Ariel to bring Ferdinand near his cell. Ariel, who is invisible, lures Ferdinand to his cell and there he happens to see Miranda. Both fall in love with each other at first sight. Prospero, who wants both of them to get married to each other, but does not want their love to grow smoothly. So he subjects Ferdinand to a hard task of piling woods at one place. Miranda asks her father not to be so harsh towards Ferdinand, but Prospero refuses to do so. Prospero hears the conversation between the two lovers and is convinced about their true love for each other. He decides to allow them to get married to each other. Prospero now gets ready to deal with his enemies who had, 12 years ago, plotted against his life and Miranda's life. He is in a position to punish them by his magic power. But he chooses to make his enemies Antonio, Alonso and Sebastian realize about their evil deeds. Prospero orders some of his spirits to appear before Alonso and his courtiers and lay a banquet before them. The spirits lay the banquet and dance and invite Alonso to eat the food. The spirits disappear after doing their task. Alonso and his companions are bewildered to see the appearance of strange shapes before them. When Alonso reluctantly moves forward to eat the banquet, Ariel appears before Alonso and his companions in the shape of a harpy and talks to them in a threatening tone. The harpy condemns the three, Antonio, Alonso and Sebastian, for the crime they had committed against Prospero and calls them three men of sin. The harpy tells Alonso that he has lost his son Ferdinand due to crime that he had committed against Prospero. The harpy asks them to repent for their evil deeds and vow to lead a sinless life in future. Thereafter the harpy disappears. All the three feel bewildered and startled. Alonso becomes almost mad. Antonio and Sebastian grow miserable and desperate and lose the balance of their minds. Ariel, being invisible, imprisons them into a lime grove. Prospero feels that Ferdinand has successfully passed the test to which he subjected to. So he has agreed to allow Ferdinand to marry Miranda. Prospero arranges a mask to entertain Ferdinand and Miranda on the occasion of their betrothal ceremony. The spirits under the command of Prospero participate in the mask and entertain the couple. When the spirits disappear, Prospero grows philosophical and tells Ferdinand that everything in this universe will melt into the thin air just as the spirits have melted away. Ariel informs Prospero that the prisoners in the lime grove feel miserable and depressed. Gonzalo, the old courtier, who had helped Prospero when he was expelled from his dukedom, is feeling particularly distressed. Ariel tells Prospero that he feels sympathetic towards them. Thereupon Prospero tells Ariel that he does not wish to punish the evildoers, but wants them to realize and repent for their crime committed against him. Prospero, then, orders Ariel to bring all the prisoners before him. Soon all the prisoners led by Alonso appear before Prospero. The three men in sin are still bewildered and distracted. Prospero expresses his gratitude to Gonzalo, the old courtier, for rendering him help many years ago. He addresses him as my true preserver, and loyal sir to him than followest. Then he addresses Alonso, Antonio and Sebastian and rebukes them for treating him cruelly and callously 12 years ago when they plotted to kill him and his daughter, Miranda. Prospero has the magic power to destroy them, but he chooses the path of forgiveness. He pronounces forgiveness upon all the three because he thinks that they are repentant of their crime. Prospero feels satisfied because he has completed his project. He has forgiven his enemies and expressed his thanks to Gonzalo, who had placed food and fresh water in the rotten boat in order to save the lives of Prospero and Miranda. He takes Alonso and all his companions to his cell where they see Ferdinand and Miranda playing chess. Alonso is thrilled and delighted to see his son alive. When he comes to know that Miranda, the daughter of Prospero, has agreed to marry Ferdinand, Prospero's approval, he feels extremely happy. Thus reconciliation takes place between Alonso and Prospero, and reunion takes place between Alonso and his son Ferdinand. The main plot involving Prospero ends in Prospero's forgiveness of his enemies. The subplot involving Miranda and Ferdinand ends in their betrothal ceremony. Another subplot involving Antonio and Sebastian ends in their failure to kill Alonso and Gonzalo. But there is another subplot which involves Caliban, Trinculo and Stefano. Trinculo and Stefano belong to King Alonso's party. Trinculo is a jester and King Alonso's butler. They get separated from the main group of the survivors. Both Trinculo and Stefano are drunkards. Caliban too gets drunk after Stefano pours wine into his mouth. Caliban conspires with Stefano and Trinculo to kill Prosperos in his afternoon nap. Caliban tells Stefano that he can become the king of the island by murdering Prospero. Also, he will be able to marry Miranda, the daughter of Prospero, after Prospero's death. However, the whole plot is foiled by Ariel. During the scene of reconciliation and happiness, Ariel appears with the master and bosun of the wrecked ship. They inform that the ship is safe and ready to undertake the voyage back home. The three evildoers are brought in by Ariel, and Prospero sets them free of his spell. Caliban is ordered to tidy the cell and prepare the food for all. Prospero invites his brother and the King of Naples and his courtiers to spend the night in his cave. Before Prospero leaves the island, he gives freedom to Ariel. Ariel promises to provide calm seas and favorable winds for the voyage back home. Prospero would get back his dukedom and witness the marriage of his daughter Miranda with Ferdinand. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe. Created and edited by Swapnil Mehta.